Drugs, guns, counterfeit cash, it's all for sale on the so-called dark web, a secret and sinister part of the internet.
A place where online services offering illicit drugs and hitmen are just one click away.
We live in an interconnected world. Social medias such as Facebook, TikTok and online shopping have all become the daily norm for your average web surfer. But what if I was to tell you that just a few clicks away from your normal site is a darker version of the internet, where anonymity runs free and so does the consequences that fall with it?
It's the internet below the internet, where all of your personal information is bought and sold.
I'm of course talking about the dark web, an area of the internet that is hidden to everyday users. To give a basic understanding of the web, the internet is broken down into two different webs: the surface web and the deep web. The surface web is everything you at home use, everything that search engines such as Google can find. The other part of the internet is the deep web, an area of the internet that has anonymity in mind.
You can hire a hacker to destroy someone's life or to buy illegal drugs with a few clicks.
The deep web is where the dark web lies, a shadowy figure on an otherwise normal internet. The dark web is a small section of the internet where anonymous figures exploit the deep web's anonymity to commit crimes all over the world. Join me on a journey of understanding as we unlock the secrets of the dark web. Hello mate, thank you very much for speaking with me. I know you. In order to get a better understanding of the dark web, I spoke to a technician named Sam. He enlightened me on the variety of content that the dark web has to offer.
First time I ever used the deep web, I was probably about 15, 16 years old. I hadn't, I had heard about it. It was more sort of a rumor at that point, and I was at my friend's house, and we, were sort of daring each other, egging each other on to go on the deep web, and we downloaded the software for it, opened it up, went on a couple of websites, and then got scared and closed it. And that was the first time I ever used it officially. I remember there was this one site which was Apple products, but all of them had been stolen from somewhere, and you could filter by how they'd been stolen. So there was, filtering by if they had been pickpocketed from people, or if they had been like stolen from warehouses or shoplifted, or that kind of thing. And I remember thinking at the time just how many products there were, and they were coming from all over the world. So people, it was clearly a huge website. A lot of people have contributed to it, which was kind of shocking. One of the other websites that I visited was called Silk Road, which you may have heard of. It's this online sort of black market style place. It's got, you can buy loads of illegal stuff, drugs and weapons and that kind of thing on there. Obviously I didn't buy anything, but again, just curiosity made me have a look. So I had a look at all the various things and the way that the website worked. And to me, it looked like a huge scam, but I'm sure there's people out there that can verify that it's true.
The site that Sam references, Silk Road, was an online marketplace that was shut down in February 2011. It was created by Ross Ulbricht and had made $1 billion in cryptocurrency at the time of its shutdown. There have been numerous attempts at reviving Silk Road since its shutdown, and to this day there are many spin-off sites where you can buy drugs, weapons and other legal stock. This is just one of many sites that have existed on the dark web that pushes illegal content.
Normally when you're on the internet and you're using websites like YouTube and Facebook and Google, they look very modern and polished and clean because they're all about interacting with the user and they're all about making the experience as nice and pleasant as possible. But on the deep web, it's just different. It's just they just want to get the product across to you. They don't really care what it looks like. So these websites, they were just really, really simple and basic, and it didn't look right being on the internet and not seeing a really polished, clean product. And then that got me thinking just about how much human involvement there was in creating these websites, which was, just really scary to think that there's people that have sat down for hours and hours and put all of these, horrible drugs and films and whatever up on the internet just for others to download. Yeah, it was terrifying.
Reflecting on what Sam had taught me, I never realised how easy it would be to access the deep and dark web. So, to put this claim into truth, I decided to go on it myself. So there we have it. 15 seconds, and I now have access to the deep web. It surely was a very easy platform to access. 15 seconds to search and download it was not very hard at all. But as I've noticed on first arrival into the deep web, is that the deep web entices you and shows you that there are options for you here. There is YouTube, Google, Wikipedia, Twitter, Facebook. They're all existing there. They all are there and available for you on the deep web. But of course, under the easy and normal areas of the web are the darker versions that of course you do not want to get hooked into. To access darker websites, and of course illegal websites, on the deep web where you enter the dark web, of course you would need a direct link or a wiki page with different links on the deep web. Now I'm not going to disclose any links here, nor am I going to tell you how to access the deep web, but I have to tell you, it was relatively easy to get on it, and very shocking that it all looks very modern, normal, and accessible. But of course, to end this little adventure, I guess I'd have to end it with saying, I advise you not to check out the dark web, especially if you have no experience with online privacy or security. And of course, leave all of that stuff for the dark and creepy podcasts that you find online. So far, we have learnt from others about what they have seen on the dark web, so it feels only about time to get an account from someone who has experienced it. After months of looking online and asking my connections, I felt my search for someone with a personal connection to the dark web was over. Nearing the time when I was about to give up my quest, I found a woman with a truly remarkable story. This woman had spent quite a few years on the deep and dark web and had unfortunately suffered an event which changed her life. To protect this person's identity, her name has been changed and her story has been read by an actor. This is Danielle's story.
I probably got into using the dark web in college. Some of the guys in college were using it, so I thought I'd give it a go, you know? I started to watch a lot of different YouTubers who were advocates for internet freedom, and I started to sort of reject the idea of the internet a bit. I deleted my Facebook that I had when I was growing up and my other social medias. I thought in those days that being on the internet was like being naked outside. It was a world where anyone could get your information. So instead of using the normal web, I started using the deep web through Tor. I liked it, and it made me feel like I wasn't displaying myself out there, you know? It wasn't long after that I started going on deep web forums. At first it was just science forums and pirating sites where I could get movies. I started to look at freedom forums as well. I think the forums are what I liked most about the deep web. I could chat to people under a fake identity, a sort of alias, I guess, where you feel like you're protected. I didn't really agree with the corporate propaganda, so I enjoyed a place where I could, escape it. After about a year of using the deep web, I felt fine. I spent a while just doing normal internet stuff. I even pirated some online books for university. It was around this time when it happened. My webcam was always on. I just thought the webcam was broken or that the light had meant it had power and it was just working, you know. I spent about 3 weeks leaving the webcam alone and just going about my days, you know. I found out through a friend I'd made the deep web and that my webcam had been hacked. They sent me a link to the site and it had videos of me undressing, videos of me working, videos of me chatting, even videos of me with my boyfriend. My webcam was pretty much pointed at my bed, so they saw everything that I would do in my room. Private moments with my boyfriend were people's daily watch. I reported it to the police, but nothing really came of it. And one day the site was gone and I couldn't really do anything to get the videos deleted. I spent a year on the deep web and I found no issue. You know, all it took was a university book download and my computer was essentially compromised. I know it was my fault, I should have been more careful, but if you spend a year being okay, your guard kind of goes down. To this day, I still use the deep web. It did change me though. I don't like cameras and I don't really go out much now. All I can say is that I don't want what happened to me to happen to any other girl. So if I could say one thing to help people, I would say just be careful with what you download. Be careful on the deep web. The deep web is fine, but it's what you do that can be dangerous. It sounds dramatic, but downloading is easy, and one download could change your life.
After hearing Danielle's story, my horrors were confirmed. Like any other curious person, I spent hours online watching YouTube videos and hearing podcasts on scary stories of the dark web, where horrors were committed. But until you hear it from a person who has truly lived it, a small part of you believes that it's just fake and insignificant. Public opinion of the dark web is relatively negative, with many too scared to even try it, which calls into question whether the risks outdoes the gains.
I don't know too much about the dark web. I know it is the side of the internet where you can access the most terrible known things, from drugs to guns to unspeakable things.
I don't know what the dark web is, but is that where all illegal stuff happens?
From what I've heard, you don't want to go there. It's literally traumatizing.
I've never dabbled with it myself personally, but I have a lot of people I know who have, and it's definitely, to me, it seems like a very messed up place.
So, conclusively, my opinion on the deep web is set. While the deep web offers anonymity to those who feel in need of it, the deep web can be a haven for exploiters and criminals. The world needs to be more aware of what the dark web below their normal one does. While people surf TikTok or watch YouTube, a person's life could be forever changed a few clicks away. So, to conclude our journey together, I leave you with some simple principles. Tell others of the dark web's horrors. Monitor your own internet security. Be careful what you download. For in Danielle's words, one download can change your life. Special thanks to technician Sam, actor Ellie, and fabulous anonymous contributor Danielle for their time and their effort throughout this piece.